Thank you very much. So for everybody who does not know, Mandalay has two operating mines, the Björkdal gold mine out of northern Sweden and the Fosterville gold antimony mine operating in Victoria, Australia. So this year, this presentation is really going to focus on three areas of what the company is doing this year and over the coming years. The first one is significant growth profile over the next 3 years. We put out guidance in January this year showing quite a significant ramp up over that period, virtually doubling production since 2018. And then we also have extremely high potential exploration targets that we will be focusing on this year and next year. They're both of our sites are very exciting targets that are emerging. And finally, the other major point is we are fully funded going forward. So 2018, Mandalay did have some significant issues at the operations. We had a haulage issue with our underground haulage fleet at Björkdal mine, which put us quite a way behind on where we wanted to be production-wise. And we also had a pumping issue at our Fosterville mine. Moving into a new lode, we encountered that we had much more water in this vein than expected, and it probably put us back around about 3 months from when we wanted to move into this new lode. So in early this year, we did see that we needed funding within the organisation to carry out this high capital year of 2019. So we spoke to our major shareholders. Every one of them was happy to put in the company. The story we have going forward, they were all extremely excited about it. So we did end up raising $42 million with our 4 largest shareholders, and who was previously our largest shareholder since 2010, who jumped out several years ago, and they decided to come back on board. So you can see here our growth profile going forward from 2018 through to 2021. You see the bulk of that growth is a yellow line down below. That is from our Fosterville mine, the gold antimony mine. The uplift in the production there is 100% grade related. We are moving into the high grade dual lode. We expect to be producing from there Q4 2019. That lode gets the grades increase as you go deeper, so you see why the production profile is gradually lifting through to 2021. The Björkdal asset, we don't have production lifting much in our guidance currently, but there's a very interesting emerging story about what we are finding with exploration. We are seeing that deposit is growing in size significantly, and we do appear to be getting higher grades as we get deeper into the mine. So Fosterville, as I mentioned, you can see the production growth. We expect to be producing from 76 to 100,000 equivalent gold ounces by 2021. That's a similar production profile to what we were producing around about 3 years ago when we were producing from the Cuffley lode. So this mine is narrow vein, high grade deposit. But our yearly production rate, ounce output rate, depends pretty much solely to the grade of the vein that we are mining. And what we have discovered with the Ewell lode, which we will begin producing from at the end of this year, that's the highest grade lode we have found on the site to date. So you can see here up on the northern side of that is, southern side, sorry, is where the old operations were producing from. During 2018, we moved across to the Brunswick lode, which is that lode right in the centre. That has average grades and it keeps the production, the mill fed through 2019. Where we do reach a very nice stuff is up north in the Ewell lode. We're currently around about 300 metres away from the deposit. And you can see down the bottom there what the grades are we're expecting from that in the reserves, so 14 grams per tonne gold and 3.3% antimony in the current reserves. That's around about 18 grams per tonne equivalent gold grade. Moving on, the next point is probably the most interesting for many people. It's the exploration going forward at this deposit. So I dare say everybody knows about the Fosterville deposit owned by Kirkland Lake. Our mine is around about 30 kilometres away from Fosterville. Similar to them, we're both gold antimony producers. You find that the antimony grades do drop off significantly as they get deeper at Fosterville, and we do find the same also. We have been seeing many similarities between the two sites. We've got a very good relationship with them, so we do have site visits between the two sites. And the emerging story is that we think we have potential for finding something, a deposit similar to what Kirkland Lake have at depth. Back several years ago, we did drill 2 deep holes, around about 1 kilometre deep, to a similar depth where Kirkland Lake did find their swan lode. Both of the intercepts were extremely high grade. So the first one was 1,360 grams per tonne. The second one was 260 grams per tonne. They were both very narrow, around about 18 centimetres and 8 centimetres, but they are the size of veins we're quite commonly mining at Fosterville. We stopped that drilling program back then because of water restrictions with how much we could dewater. Since that's been done, those original holes were drilled. We have increased our capacity to dewater. We can now pump out a lot more water because we have evaporation facility, reverse osmosis, and some permits for re-injection into the aquifer. So we would be able to drill deeper. And that's a result of what has happened at Kirkland Lake, that Fosterville mine. There is a lot of interest, and it is a large part of the reason why the investors were willing to put into this $42 million into the company to follow up on this deep hole program. We have initiated the first hole down deep under the Yule lode. That was initiated around about 3 weeks ago. We will have results on that as the year goes forward. This first year, we are mainly looking at mainly looking for geology more than anything else. We're looking for the type of rock that would act as a gold trap and the most likely zone that we would find high grade deposit. So that and the coming years will have more targeted drilling as a result of this first year's drilling. But we do know there is high grade gold down deep. We have already intercepted it. Moving on to our Bjorkdal mine, we brought this mine in 2014. It was producing about 40,000 ounces for the last 10-15 years. We lifted production up to 62,000 ounces with all of our operational changes. We had the major haulage issue last year in our underground where the bulk of our high grade comes from, and that was the reason for the main drop off in 2018. Q1 results show that we are already, now that we have a brand new haulage fleet at the site, we are pretty much on track, tracking around about that 16,000 ounces, extrapolating Q1 results. The bigger story there is what's happened down deep in this mine. So we've always had this marble contact at this mine that does limit the upper extents of our veining. As we got deeper into the mine, this marble contact at the deepest extent dropped down suddenly. What we have found on top, above the marble, is that because of these veins are completely unrestricted, the dimensions of these veins have, to date, increased 6-fold. So what was generally 50 metre high veins, we now find that they are 300 metre high and actually at a higher grade than we have mined for the last 30 years. This is an emerging story. We don't actually know how big this deposit is going to be. What we do know is that we will be able to pull out a lot more material from the underground. We are currently working through the plans to figure out how we mine this. We have also found within that lode the Aurora vein. That is a major one going down the centre, which is around about 4 times the width and probably about 3 times the grade of what we generally mine. Thank you. Just not.